about Martell being on this show. I mentioned it in our last episode. This is shaping up to be a season conflict, and I am not interested.
It doesn't
I
need to be.
I can barely tolerate Martell on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Hi friends, we're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandrin.
What up, what up? It's Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. And we're back. If you've never been here before, welcome. We do a cross section of pop culture and real life commentary. So today we're back. We're gonna talk Housewives of Atlanta because it's kind of interesting this season so far.
It's going down.
It's going down. It's going down. So where do you want to start?
Girl, let's start with that weird ass girl that was giving Kandi the
Because who is she and what was she bringing?
not a goddamn thing. Like, girl, like Kandi said on her Kandi Online, like it's clear that you're trying to get a storyline out of the situation. And this season, I'm the particular person that you are trying to go for or whatever have you. Which okay, do you? But like, this is dumb. She never said, like, you arguing and you having all this beef, and she's like, I never said that. This did not happen. Like, what is the weird energy for? Like, you just try to have a moment and you looking real crazy on TV.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have a question about Kandi since we're right here. Do you think that Kandi is venturing into Dr. Heavenly territory with her Kandi Coated Nights, not Candy Coated Nights, but her Kandi Online presence and the Speak On It and all of that stuff? If we talked about Dr. Heavenly before last season when she was like, when they were confronting her for all of her hot takes on YouTube. And it seems like Kandi is starting to go a little bit more controversial with her takes. So do you think that she's venturing all the way into Dr. Heavenly's territory, or what do you think?
I don't. And I say this because even when, so I want to say Kandi was doing the Speak On It before. She might have took a hiatus, but she was doing that before Heavenly did because Nene was still on the show.
Yeah, she did. But I think what I'm saying and where I'm going is like, it seems like it's coming up in on the show in a way that it hadn't been before, and it seems like sometimes she's getting a little bit more, she's giving more hot takes. Before it used to be like, oh, come up here and just tell your side or say what you have to say, but it's like she's getting into the hot takes of it all. And it was sort of starting with the SWE versus Escape show, or not versus, but you know, their joint
show thing. Yeah,
show. It kind of started there, and it seems like some of her takes are starting to come up on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I think, I don't know, it doesn't really bother me because Kandi still creates space or opens the space up for them to come and have discourse.
Yeah.
Versus Heavenly will literally say the most gutter, low down things about her so-called friends and castmates, and then be smiling in their face as though she never said anything.
Yeah.
And Kandi's not pretending like, you know, I didn't say X, Y, and Z. I did, but I also offered you the space to come and say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Or to get on the line and do it too, you know?
Yeah. That's a valid distinction. No, but I just, like I said, I noticed that it had taken a turn this season. So I was like, oh.
I think also, though, Kandi is like, she realized that people are getting a kick out of her hot takes. And they find her funny, so like that might be why we're getting more of this side of her personality. Because like on the show for the previous years, she would give us a little bit of this in the confessionals, but it wasn't to the extent that we're getting it now. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I definitely be watching Kandi Online and doing the Speak On It.
She definitely has been giving middle of the road all these whole season, like pretty much her entire time on Housewives. She's been very middle of the road. And she seems like she's willing to get into it a little bit more this season. And I wonder a little bit, I wonder if it has something to do. Okay, so the last conversation we had, we talked about how we think that Tiffany got the warning shot from Carlos of like, hey, perk it up or you're gonna be off. I don't think that anybody was ever going to kick Kandi off, but her placement on the couches last reunion was hotly contested. Like, why is she all the way at the end when she's like one of the main cast members? And it was like, maybe she's not bringing it to, you know what I mean? Like she's not really
Which didn't make any
revealing
sense because last season she had this whole knockdown drag out with Marlo and
Marlo.
with Sheree.
Yeah. I don't know. I
So,
just thought it was
that's
interesting
interesting.
and yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I just I've noticed a shift and so I just wanted to mention it here.
Well, we'll see, child. We're gonna see how it all plays out. Maybe they'll have a come to Jesus with her too, because she be doing this Kandi online. But I think, I don't know, like last week she had Kenya on, and Kenya was basically like Kenya was Kenya-ing, okay? She
Yeah.
was giving
She
us
always
old
does.
school Kenya. In the commentary, it was just like, I mean, she's gonna watch it, like whatever. I don't mean no harm. Like we friends, because she was talking about the situation with her and Sheree. But like, I think that's the biggest difference, is that she creates space for these women to come on and tell
Yeah,
their side of the story, and to confront her if she said something that she didn't like, or that they didn't
that's
like.
fair. That's fair. Well, since we're right there, let's talk about Kenya and Sheree and the whole
The
whole
Martell
Martell of it
thing.
all.
The thing that pissed me off is that Sheree made this thing a huge deal, because Kenya was like, "Hey, I just want you to know, and nothing ever happened, but he did reach out to me however long ago." And it's
Yeah,
so whether she got the time frame wrong, she did say that it happened a while ago, but nothing happened. It wasn't nothing serious, but I just wanted
yeah,
you to know so that doesn't come from somebody else.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she had conversation about it with the girls, and them having the conversation at the candy factory. Is that the candy factory? Is that what it's called? Or is it the hip factory? I don't know.
No, it's the Candy
Anyway,
Factory. I think it's the Candy Factory.
them having conversations at Candy's space,
Mm-hmm.
basically, I understood where she was coming from. She didn't want it to come back to her, that like, to come back to Sheree, that they sat around and had this whole conversation. Because I mean, it's possible it could have, and it wouldn't have been like a malicious thing. It probably could have just been like somebody just chatting, because it was three women talking about it.
I struggle with Kenya because I usually I agree with some of her intros into the conflict. Like, I understand what she means, like when she's starting the conflict, but she just always goes too far to me. Like, you'd be like, "Now, Kenya, how did he become?
Yeah.
How was that abusive?
That she lost me.
I don't think it
It
was abusive, Kenya. Now, like,
wasn't.
I don't agree with that. And all of this, like, oh, you're missing the signs. Like, yeah, Martell is. I think she is missing signs, but I don't even think they're a real relationship. So I don't even think there's any signs to be missed at this point.
Hello?
Um, but she's like, "Oh, this is how Bob used to treat you," and all. It was just like, is it? Is
But
it?
like, even if it was, she's not, it ain't for real. If you got to ask her, is this for real? Then you know that it's not.
I'm just like Kenya now.
Like, let it go.
Like
She was just doing too much. Doing
she
way too
always loses me somewhere down the road, even if I agree with her and I agree with what she was saying. Like, hey, I just don't want this to come out some other way. I don't want him to say something and that's the first time you've heard about it or
much.
whatever. And like Sheree did try to say that at the end, like, oh, he had already told me about that, and like we had an understanding on that. I just wanted to see where she was going, which I think is probably true. But it's
Girl,
like,
I feel like when Sheree be telling stuff, we could tell when she lying, because like she gives that telltale inflection in her voice.
yeah,
And I
true.
feel like when she said that shit in the confessional, like, bitch, you lying. You just saying this right now to save face.
Or I don't even think it matters, honestly, because I don't
It
think this is a
doesn't.
real thing. But yeah, so let's just move on. Martell being on this show. I mentioned it in our last episode. This is shaping up to be a season conflict, and I am not interested.
It doesn't
I
need to be.
I can barely tolerate Martell on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Honest to God, he gets on my nerves. He and his backward logic get on my nerves so bad. We didn't even talk about this in our last episode, but like with the kids, do you want to do a Love and Marriage Huntsville episode?
we
Not really.
can
Okay,
we
well,
can
I'll
wrap it
mention
up
it.
into this a little bit,
Yeah,
a little
but yeah,
RH
even
away and a
just
little love and marriage,
yeah. So how like the crossover? We'll do a little crossover.
There you
But
go.
like just with the him with Melody and the kids and the party, I'm like, yeah, I get it, but like you always trying to come in here and control something. That's why Melody doesn't let you come around. It's like,
But at the same time, she pissed me off with that, because my thing is, if that is her birthday party and she was excited to see her dad, I would have been like, you know what, fine, you're here, go in, say happy birthday to the child, and be out.
yeah,
We
and
ain't
that's
got to
what ended
do
up
all of
happening.
this. You're not gonna stay, but
Yeah,
because she's already seen you at this point.
yeah.
So go say happy birthday and then be out.
And that's what ended up happening, and that's what should have happened, but it was just like, he always
It's dramatic. Just
pushes
do it
his way
in.
in, and that is why she does not like him around, because he always again, you give him an inch and he takes 3.5 miles.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why. So anyways, again, I can't stand him on Love and Marriage Huntsville. He gets on my nerves so bad. So the fact that he is finding his way into Housewives of Atlanta as well, and I have to deal with him twice a week, is aggravating the shit out of me.
Girl. I mean, but
Not
we
interested.
hopefully we won't be seeing him that often. That's what I'll say.
That's my hope, but I also know how these shows work, and we again we talked about that a little bit too. Of like, we can tell what's shaping up to be a season conflict, and it seems like he's already been on 2 episodes, right? Two.
Yeah. He was on the
He's
first,
already Yeah, he's already been on
and
two
he was on
episodes.
well,
We've seen
maybe he was
Sheree.
on three. Was
Okay,
he? Maybe he
so
wasn't on last week. I don't know. I don't remember at this
I
point.
think
Because
he was
I was watching.
on. He's definitely been on two. I don't know. I think we're on episode 3, right?
I don't know. I don't know if we
Okay,
maybe
anyways.
he's on the first
I
two. How
think
about
he's been
that?
on 2. I think he's been on 2 because he showed up on one episode and then the party was the next. I think, or something like that. Anyways, he's been on more than half at this point of these episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Granted, we're early in the season, but he's still been on, and I'm just like, I don't want him here all season. And we saw Sheree down to Huntsville, and I'm like, I don't want her there either. Like, it doesn't even feel like she belongs in that environment. So I don't want to see this crossover. And please stop making it happen. I wish
My
Bravo
thing is
had never
like
signed off on it. Honest to God.
my thing is like, do this, but do we have to see it twice a week? Like
Yeah,
one season we got him, we watched something else, whatever the case may be, and then the next season we got her, and like, why are we Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday? Like, we don't have to do this.
we don't
I
have to
don't.
do this.
This don't
And
have to
I
be the
don't.
thing.
Sheree bothers me significantly less than Martell, but even with her being on Huntsville, she still feels out of place over on Huntsville. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what is the point of this? Why are we
There's
here?
no connections to the cast, and
There's
to
not.
include him, because
No.
the way that it looks right now, they look more connected on Atlanta than they do on his show.
Yeah. And I think that's only because they're like partying, they're in a social environment, they're probably, drinking whatever. So maybe that warms everything up. But I don't know. I
I
just don't
guess.
like it. It's obviously staged. Everybody has clocked it. Everybody has said it. And I don't think anybody's buying it.
And I also kind of feel like this is just my own personal speculation, but I kind of feel like he was making it a mission for him to find a partner in Atlanta because Mel
Yeah.
wants to go to Atlanta.
And I think it was his mission to find someone to put himself in a larger spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mel was the person who was pushing their mission and their family forward. And without her, he's just going to be building houses with uh
Whomever.
whomever, because he don't have no builder's license still. So
Mm-hmm.
he's just going to be down there building houses, and not to say he won't have any profile, but it's clear that Mel was the one that was pushing them forward. So this is his effort to, like, you know what I mean, get on a bigger platform and get magazine covers and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it worked, and I think I've had enough.
I'm saying. But they look good together. I will give them that. They are
They do.
very, very well dressed individuals. They
Yeah.
complement each other aesthetically well. Um, if it turns out to work out, I'm not gonna be mad at it. I just don't want y'all to be obnoxious on my TV. That's really what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
Um,
if it works out, it works out. But I'm just like,
the other
your
thing that
your
I
youngest children are the same age as, like, Sheree just had a grandbaby, and you got kids under 5.
yeah, but I mean she's also like what 12 years his senior.
But that's
So
my point. And like, he's not even mature. Like, he's not even mature. He got a bunch of kids, but he's not mature.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? Really and truly, like what the girls are saying is that he be putting it down. So
And
maybe
listen,
that's what
I
it
could
is.
understand that, and I can get on board with that storyline. Like, oh no, he's an attractive guy. We're friends. We're just getting to know each other. We're friends with benefits. Whatever, whatever, whatever. I can get on board with that. But this whole attitude of like they're building a life together, bullshit.
Like y'all not building no life because girl, you live in a goddamn mansion. He lives in a regular, regular
A nice
neighborhood.
house.
nice house, but it's regular, degular. Like it ain't looking like what you got going on. It's no
Oh,
Chateau Sheree.
y'all not building
Not
nobody's
that it
life
needs to
together.
be, but still,
Knock
I
it
don't know.
off.
It's just interesting.
It's annoying.
But what I will say is that they match each other's bullshittery.
Yeah, I can get along with that.
It's like that right and left
And
shoe all fit
delusion
together.
to a certain extent.
You said
Because I
what?
like Sheree, but she's delusional. They match each other's delusion a bit.
Well, we're gonna see how this turns out. I don't know. Right now we haven't really gotten too much of the other girls. I'm hoping that that Portia will decide to come back to the show. I really don't. I
Yeah.
know why she left, right? Because she was in that very messy situation that she got into. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's just kind of like, girl, like she don't need to be there because he's wealthy beyond wealth. But girl,
Right.
get on this show. He want to be just as famous as you do. Like, come on.
I will say this. I'm curious to see how the Manetta and Kenya relationship evolves because Manetta introduced Kenya to her new guy, and there's
Oh
been
yeah.
pictures of them circulating and all of that stuff at somebody's birthday party.
I think it was
Those just came
Manietta's
out
husband's
recently.
birthday party because the guy is friends
Okay.
with Heath, which is Manietta's husband.
Right. So I'm hoping that they that brings some new energy, some new life to the cast, a new alliance or a new friendship or whatever.
I'm glad that they
Um
actually brought Manietta back as a friend to the show, and eventually, I hope that she
yeah,
does go ahead and get her peach. I think too
yeah,
that I like the dynamic with Manietta and Kandi when Kandi was like, "I'm mad at you because you didn't do this, that, and the third," and I think that that's a genuine friendship, and like they
yeah,
balance each other's energy out.
yeah. Speaking of
So,
Kandi and energy, her and Sonya's conversation about
now
she
Sonya
was
was
like, "Well,
lying
what
through
did
her
you
damn
say?"
teeth.
Through her teeth. She was like, so what did you say when they called me ghetto or when they implied that I was being ghetto?" And she was like, "I mean, I said," and
Well,
Kandi
no, Sonya was
Kandi
like,
in
"Well,
her
she didn't call you
confessional was
ghetto."
like, Kandi in her confession was like, "Now I know how they are," and they was up there giggling like,
And
"Oh,
then
don't say
pan to
that,"
them
and she
giggling, right?
hand to them giggling, and she was 100% correct because that's exactly what happened.
I'm like, come
I was
on
just like, "Now,
now. If you're
Sonya,
gonna be Candy friend, you got to be Candy friend. You can't be a fair weather friend. She gonna put you out
now, Sonya,
by the pasture, okay?
now, Sonya." Who else is on there that we didn't talk about?
Marlo, but Marlo ain't had no storyline. She was
Marlo
just
ain't
trying to
done
be in the
nothing yet.
mess. That's really
Marlo
what
hasn't
it's
done
down
anything
to.
yet. So,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
We'll see what it's gonna look like
All
this
right.
season. I really don't. I do not desire to see Marlo beefing with people, even though like that's what we tune in for. Was the problematic Marlo years prior and her like giving the girls the business, but like it's just not fun to watch.
It's not, and not in her. I don't know. Marlo was always like the breather for me. Like she would pop in. She might start a little mess, but she was also just ridiculous, and you just loved her
Mhm.
ridiculousness. And I think this is not. This is gonna sound bad, but I'm gonna say anyway. I think with her having her nephews, it has grounded her in a way
Mhm.
and made her
We're
kind
not
of
getting that
like
no more.
need. I don't say need the check, but like, well, she's supporting a household now and she's supporting her kids now. So she has to be like kind of more into the mess. Like she's not as grand and delusional as we loved her being. So
Hmm.
I think it tweaked her personality in a way. And I don't know that it's going well necessarily.
I would rather than bring back Nene for all of this. At least her and Nene could, spar against each other, or not spar, but have like their
Yeah.
little funny moments.
Yeah, little tiffs, little going back and forth. So, anyways, we'll see what happens with Marlo this season. Not
She don't really have
nothing's
no
happened yet.
genuine connections to the cast, so it seems. It just seems like she's like out of place.
Just kind of out of place.
Yeah,
Which I hate to see an OG go out like this, but we'll see.
it is what it is.
It's what
All
it is.
right. Anything
All
else
right.
you got for the girls?
Nope.
Well, y'all get down in the
Nope.
comments and let us know what you think about this season. What are your predictions this season? What conflicts are going to continue to go awry? Or do you think that people are going to mend fences and it's going to be so much better? I doubt it, but we'll see. Anyway,
Are you
until the
sick of
next
seeing
time.
Martell?
What'd you say?
Are you also sick of seeing Martell?
I mean, yes, and that scene where he gave us like the underwear model shot, I was just like, I see what you're seeing, girl. I see it, Sheree, girl. But really,
We all have eyes. We see what she's seeing, but it's like, does he have to talk?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just be there. Just be a beautiful, piece of man on her arm. There you go. Anyway, y'all drop down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next conversation. Peace out, y'all.